Well, let's talk about smartphones. And a smartphone that's getting a lot of attention at the moment is from TCL. They've got the 10 Pro. Just launched. I thought we'd have a chat with Geoff Quattromani. He's been putting it through its paces. How are you, sir?
Really well, Charlie. How are you?
I'm good. I've had a look at this handset for $750. I thought it was quite a nice piece of kit. I was really keen to get your thoughts.
Look, it is a very beautiful phone, and it actually looks like a premium device. Just doesn't come with that premium price tag that people are starting to get used to. Phones above $1,000 these days, it's out of reach for many. And when you start to see what brands like TCL is putting into a phone at $750, you start to wonder why people spend more than $1,000 on a smartphone.
It's got 4 cameras in it. I remember the phones that were coming out with 4 cameras in them weren't that long ago and were at least twice the price. I guess having 4 cameras is one thing, but what's the actual photo capture experience like?
Look, it's quite good. I mean, all of the extra cameras on the back just really allow you to take different types of shots, whether it's wide angle or ultra wide angle as well. And for me, I could post photos on social media with photos taken from this phone, and no one would have a clue that I'm using something that isn't an iPhone or a Samsung, flagship model. The cameras really do surprise you. And obviously there is one on the front as well. You don't miss out on that selfie experience, but you also still get a huge display on the front. There's no buttons. It's all very clean. It's actually got more pixels per inch than the iPhone 11. It's got a higher screen to body ratio than the Galaxy S20. So when you start to put some specs side by side with some of the premium phones, it's really not just the cameras that shine here. There's a lot to this device that makes it impressive. Is
this what TCL needed to do to actually get attention in the market? Because no one knows TCL is a smartphone maker. I mean, they own Alcatel and they license the Alcatel name, and they've used that for their more budget-friendly handsets, $100, $200, $300, $400. They're now bringing TCL in at that $450 and to sort of $800 range. Do you think that they needed to actually do this to get attention to the brand first and foremost?
Look, I think it's an important statement to make that they are here with a value for money type product that offers that flagship experience, because at $750, there is an iPhone SE, there is a Samsung that you can get for the exact same dollar. So when you look at what you're spending your money on, if you're a parent looking for something for your kids, for example, and that's your budget, you've now got 3 really good choices. The thing that TCL needs to start doing, and obviously what we're doing here, is spreading the word. We're talking about it. And I don't think that any amount of advertising can really go past actual user experience. And I know people who bought the previous generation of the TCL phone, which was the Plex, and I continue to hear from them saying that is an amazing phone and I wouldn't have bought it had you not spoken about it. And they're obviously becoming advocates for the brand, and that's what will start to happen with TCL. Is it doesn't happen overnight, but as they release devices like this, you will start to see that momentum grow, because side by side, you're going to get so much more in a phone for the dollar than you would from those other brands.
The other Chinese brands out there are also trying to do the same thing, right? Oppo is trying to go even higher end with $1,500, $1,600 handsets in 5G and things like that. But for some reason, Samsung is continually able to sell handsets between $200 and $2,000 and more now with the flips and unfoldable handsets. They've really positioned their brand to be able to grab that entire wide range of customers at different price points. With TCL, though, it seems that what they're trying to do is just say, look, you know what, before you go and buy that well-known brand, have a look at us, see what people are thinking. Is that what you agree with?
Well, I completely agree. And even in talking to Sam Skontos, and I know you had him on the show last week too, they aren't trying to take iPhone customers. That is not their business, and trying to persuade people to go from iPhone to TCL. What they're actually trying to do is have you go from a competitor product such as a Samsung or an Oppo and then choose TCL. And that's really smart to be doing, because it runs Android just like all those other phones do. So the actual user experience is very much the same. Where TCL can try and do better is the fact that they do make TVs, meaning that they put that TV technology into their phone so the display is beautiful, And then they add the extra cameras, the fingerprint sensor, and actually a premium design compared to what you see with some of the others, which are all, plastic and quite tacky.
If you don't want 5G, you're not interested in it for whatever reason, you might just be happy with getting 4G speeds, which in this country especially are very, very fast. I've got to say, it's starting to look very, very lonely up at that $1,500, $1,600 high-end smartphone market in terms of feature set. The beautifulness of those handsets, sure, I get that. They still look good and all that amazing, beautiful stuff. But I'll tell you what, it's going to be a hard sell at $1,500, $1,600 for a 4G device these days when you've got TCL coming in with handsets like this.
And that's just it. I mean, if your budget was $1,500, buy two. Give one to your wife, keep one for yourself. You've then got matching brand new phones and they're going to last you a few years at least. Yes, you do miss out on 5G. You actually also miss out on wireless charging, which is the one thing I wish this did have, but you can't have it all, obviously, when you're making a price compromise here as well. But beyond that, you're not missing anything else. One other feature that this does have, which I haven't seen in phones in a long time, is an infrared sensor, meaning I can use this as a remote to control a split system air conditioning, to control the TV, whether it's at home or at the pub. That is one of the greatest features I love in phones these days is infrared control. It's unique.
And you are the guy to the pub if you have the TV remote on that one. And the other thing I noticed it has is a 3.5mm headphone jack, which is a godsend when you're just trying to put some music into your kids' ears without connecting wireless Bluetooth headsets, et cetera, on a car trip. So that's a good piece of tech to be included as well. It is the TCL 10 Pro. There's a 10L, which is cheaper. It's a different device. It is still good value for money at that lower end of the price, but the 10 Pro, I tell you what, $750 for this one. It is a value smartphone. Geoff Quattromani, good to get your insights on it. We'll chat to you again next week.
Thank you, Charlie.